Good afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, November 22, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. A little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern tonight, we're going to have a reverse aging health call. We're going to hit on some key situations. Keeping a story from your past alive takes a whole lot of work and will drain all of your energy. It will keep you living in the illusion and never awaken to the divinity within your being. And this illusionary mind loves to create stories about stories about stories. Heck, you may be even creating a story about this exploration of stories. The reality is that you are not this mind, nor your ego, nor your body, and certainly not an accumulation of all of your stories. You are much more than can be exposed or expressed in words. You are an infinite soul, which is beyond the ideas of freedom and love. You are and always will be so much vaster than any story your ego could invent. You will continue to exist long after this story has been forgotten by you and the world. Your being is naturally expansive and completely free. You have just been covering up your true infinite nature with stories. Now, the tricky part in transcending any story is that our ego loves the drama of an emotionally juicy adventure. It's like chocolate ice cream to a child. Our life's traumas and deep issues are so personal, wild, crazy, and feel so real that they often make us feel unique, that we are even someone superior or special. Truth is that everyone whose birth, everyone, was the birthed uniquely super special. And we all have the same core issues deep inside. And these core issues are about being unloved, unwanted, abandoned, and unworthy. What a great recipe to instigate massive transformation in one's lifetime. Now, you may find yourself sticking to these issues because the mind gets busy entertaining the victim story instead of being truly curious about recognizing your divine infinite nature. See, this gives you a really good example on why we must choose to master our minds. Because the mind unmastered it's off in every direction. It has really no real true purpose. Okay? And it's out there reckless abandon, and we're being led by it. And just look at that picture as an observer. Everybody on this planet is being led by the mind. And the mind doesn't believe anything at all, or even acknowledge or knows who and what you really are. So we spend lifetime after lifetime after lifetime being entertained by the mind. It's crucial for this civilization to acknowledge that, embrace it, and use its power within to master it. See, we spend all of our time, think about this, the majority of us on this planet spend most of our time out there. Now, it's inside, okay, because deliberating with ourselves about so many things, and we're worried about this and stressed about that and concerned about this and not knowing what to do about that. And this consumes us on a daily basis. Even at times when we lay our head on the pillow at night, we can't sleep because of the fact that we've got all this crap that we are being entertained by. And it gets huge after a while. And who decides that? We do. We bring that in. We create it. And the more of it that we spend time focusing on it, the more of it we're going to get. It really is an automatic response. It is a universe. It's a universal energy, and we don't really know it. We focus every day, all the time, on things that inside, right, that we're wrestling with, so to speak. And it takes up a lot of our energy and time. It really does. You become so entrenched and habitualized with it that it's what you do. You don't realize that you're doing it because you're so immersed in it. So we conjure things up. We create things that come into our lives, and we experience them without the knowing deep within that we actually created it by focusing on whatever it is that we created and manifested into our lives. Now, you focus on, let's say you focus on the fact that you're concerned about what? Your finances. Now, you don't step outside of it to look at it from the outside because you're so immersed into it under the control of the ego mind. So, think about this. It's like with anything. When you focus on it, and you're intense focused on it, you don't realize that you're creating it more and more into your life. I have seen people, witnessed people through the years who didn't know it, okay? Didn't know it. And if you made an effort to, like an outsider, right, to show them some clarity that you're doing this, they get very defensive. Again, protecting the ego mind. So they have to figure it out for themselves. Either they spend their energy focusing on things that they create into their lives, not being aware that that's what's happening. They believe that it's coming from where? Where is it coming from? Well, most people believe it's coming from out there somewhere. It's coming from somewhere out there. They're not doing it, okay? Something else is doing it to them. And they aren't able to figure out what that is. They just know and are convinced that it's coming from outside of them. Now, a lot of people also will focus on death, mortality. Okay? They will, and it doesn't have to be sitting there for a half an hour focusing on it. It's just a handful of minutes every day focusing on mortality. You're expediting your leaving the body because you're focused on it. So you're creating more of it. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a toughie for a lot of people, because we're used to focusing on what? The opposite of what we want. It's, you know, it's ingrained in us. It's not like, oh, I'm going to stop doing that. We keep doing it. And we get defensive if someone from the outside says, you know, you should really do this. And what is it? Why don't we? Well, we don't know who and what we are, number one. Okay. We don't really have an extremely powerful amount of faith, confidence, and trust in ourselves or this universe. Those are the key ingredients. So if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to believe in anything else. And I'm not talking about superficial belief. I'm talking about 100% belief, deeply and eternally, you have in yourself. Then you know how you know that is the case? Because when you interact with others or you listen to others, and they, you know, you are this or you that, it just flies off of you. You're not affected by it. And you don't focus on things that haven't happened. You know what I mean? You don't focus on things that haven't happened. Because that's an ego mind position, because you're in tomorrow. And we focus on things that haven't happened. Isn't that right? Well, we're not in the now. Because if we were in the now, we wouldn't be focused on things that haven't happened. It's crazy. There's so many things that we become attached to. Really do. And there's so many things that we focus on that we bring into our lives instead of focusing on things that we want to bring into our lives. We focus on things that we don't care to have in our lives. And whatever it is we focus on, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. We're going to create it. That is 100% all the time. There's no deviation from it. It is a crucial, I believe it is one of the major primers for our civilization's survival, for this species. Because, and it doesn't take rocket science or biophysicists for you to figure it out. Okay, I don't know myself, but I want to begin to know myself. And we're not talking about through the ego mind where you ridicule yourself, cut yourself down. You know, I've seen people focus so much on something about themselves that they made it even like 10 times worse. Okay? They get angry with themselves, or they do this or that, and they accelerate whatever it is they're focused on about themselves. Why is that? Why do we do that? Because we're afraid to embrace who and what we are. Because it's an unknown. Ego mind says, no, stay in yesterday and tomorrow. You're good there. Made it this far. Why not stay there the rest of the way? No one's going to redirect you but you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it's some long bearded guru up in a cave that you sit with or anything. The buck stops with you. You determine. But there's that, isn't it? Don't you get that little kind of bumpy feeling like you're focusing on something that you're creating, manifesting, that you want to create, manifest in your life? But yet you have this kind of a something, right? that just kind of pings you and you doubt it. I don't know if this is going to happen. See, that's ego mind. As soon as you doubt it, it's gone. As soon as that comes in, it's gone. And see, we don't view it that way because we don't have enough knowledge or experience to identify it. And again, this isn't about you coming down on yourself. This is about every one of us finding out because we want to through childlike curiosity. We want to know who and what we are once and for all. And we're not messing around with it. We're not interested in focusing our energies to creating something that is so far away from what we truly want that it's ridiculous. And this is what most of us do on this planet. You can say to someone, you're a manifesting machine. You manifest all the time. You cannot turn it off. There's no off switch. So whatever you're focusing on, you're creating. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, how do you block it? You doubt it. That's all. You doubt it. You don't have trust in yourself. You don't have 100% trust in yourself or confidence in yourself in this universe. And this universe is the best friend you will ever have through 1,000 lifetimes and more. So it's all that's the crux of it. That's the nucleus. So what do? You start focusing on you, loving you, having an intimate relationship with you, so that your heart finally opens up to you. Because I'll tell you, if your heart doesn't open up to you, it isn't going to open up to anybody else, no matter how much you think it is. And when that does happen, and you're with someone who that's also happened with, you're bonded. You're not going to separate. Well, that's kind of a play on words because separation is an illusion. But you're not going to move away from each other, like so much of that happens on this planet all the time. And it really does boil down to us not knowing who and what we are. That's what it boils down to. And the relationship that we have with ourselves. See, when you were growing up, when your body was growing, and 9 times out of 10 you had parents, and those parents instilled certain things in you. But here's the kicker. You're like an open book. All of us as children, we're like, we don't protect our hearts like adults do. See, we don't put imaginary bars up around and walls up around our hearts. Because why do we do that? Because we're protecting ego mind. See, as young children, we do not have an ego mind. It's not there yet. Room's there, the door's there, the bed's there for it to lay in, but it's not there yet. Huge difference. So it's those crucial times as children are the most crucial times we will ever experience in this life. By far. Why? Because they imprint things. They imprint things. What does that mean? Well, it means that when something is said to you as a child by someone that you feel is an authority over you, you're going to take it in. You're going to embrace it. And most likely, you will follow it as you grow. Now, rather than teaching children how to love themselves and what they are, what do? Totally the opposite. You can't do that, Billy. Why not? Because it's not possible. You're not going to be able to do that. Well, yes, I can do that. No, you're not going to be able to do that. Stop that nonsense. See? And so the child stops the nonsense. That's not possible. It's just not possible. There's no, see, they don't give how they know it's not possible. They just say, it's not possible. And the child says, they don't understand that because to them everything's possible. There's no limits. And we have programming, like I've talked about. We had that comes in. We're always constantly being programmed until we leave these bodies. But we program ourselves on top of it, based upon the information that we take in. It's like somebody that's very bullheaded, right? And they're trying to move something. And they can't do it themselves. Now, the difference between a bullheaded and an open-minded, open-hearted being is that they'll look at that and go, I'm gonna call someone and help me move this. Or I'll go next door to my neighbor and say, hey, can you come over and help me move this? I can't move it myself. But the other one, right, not thinking much, will try to move it and injure themselves. And then they say, why didn't I ask John from next door to help me? That stubbornness is part of our protection that we employ with ourselves, where, we know. And you're not going to tell me because I already know. I'm going to do it this way. It doesn't matter what you tell me. And you say, well, I've had experience with this, so what I'm doing is making sure that you don't make the same mistakes I did when I first discovered how to do this. Makes sense, right? But a lot of us are going to say, oh, no, I know how to do it. Okay, suit yourself. Now, what do you believe is the biggest stumbling block for the civilization on this planet? What do you think it is? It really always goes back to our relationships with ourselves. It always goes back to that. That sets the precedence for every one of us on how we respond, how we embrace, how we push away throughout this life. Now, it's like a lot of people, they don't understand, they don't comprehend that abundance, right? Abundance means a lot of things. Abundance of health, abundance of happiness, abundance of joy, abundance of money. Covers a lot of areas. Why is it? And we've all seen this, or even been there with it. Why is it so many people are in poverty? Why is that? Well, one might say, well, it's extenuating circumstances. This happened, that happened, it wasn't their fault at all. But that's not true. Somehow they created the exact thing that transpired for them. That's it. But that doesn't register, okay? Because it's ego mindset. Why would I do this to myself? There's no way I'd do this to myself. It's absolutely silly. As you begin to discover more and more about who and what you are, and you establish a very strong, intimate relationship with yourself, you're going to discover a lot of things. A whole boatload of things. And it's kind of like let's just say that you're in a conversation with yourself, and the two of you, okay, are seated on a couch or two chairs facing each other, and you're talking to yourself. You're over there and you're over here. Wouldn't that be interesting? And then you ask yourself, how do you feel about yourself? And yourself says, I feel wonderful about myself because I know I'm the God within this body, the pure consciousness. So your ego mind is where? The ego mind is my servant. I use it to expand my awareness. Really? Yeah. Now, picture this. You're conversing with you, but there is an image of you in front of you, and the two of you are having a conversation. It's a big difference than talking to yourself. When you actually visualize you that you're looking at and talking with. Except that you has mastered their thoughts, is not bothered by social pressures, is not in a mad rush through life. They're kicked back, they're at ease, and they're enjoying every moment they're in that body. Literally every moment. You, on the other hand, was them. They were you a while back, but learned all this, experienced it. Now, can you do that? Can you do that right now? Yeah, you can do that now. There's nothing stopping you except you. It's like you're walking along, you see something that catches your attention, and it's breathtaking, right? And you immediately respond by saying, that's the God that I am. It's a matter of fact. What this does is it begins to move you into the comprehension of what? That you're one with everything, and everything is one with you. There isn't any separation at all. Never was be, never will be, forever, beyond, and ever. This is part of our rediscovery of who and what we are in these bodies, knowing that these bodies are temporary, knowing that everything in this life is temporary. Everything. Your relationships, your possessions, your finances, your monies, all of it is temporary. The only thing that isn't temporary that's in that body, so to speak, is the God that you are, the true you. It's forever. And our focus as a species, this civilization, it's our decision, but it's really imperative that we focus on the now, that we focus on ourselves through the heart-mind to discover ourselves, to know who really, what and who we are. I mean, how do you believe you would be, right, that you absorbed all this, took it in and embraced it all? How would you be looking at this life in this very moment? You knew that without a shadow of a doubt, it's all temporary. And you have no idea, no clue whatsoever when you're going to leave that body. That's a riot. So do you think that maybe, quite possibly, it's one of the reasons why we're in such a hurry? Why we're all in such a hurry? Could be, couldn't it? Inadvertently, we're sitting here saying, I don't have a lot of time. I don't know when I'm going to be out of this body. So what does that afford you? You say, I will make the most of my life for me, not anybody else. You'll make the most of your life for you, which is loving yourself deeply and eternally, which is being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself all the time, and being in a automatic mode of being in deep, eternal gratitude at all times. This is huge for our transition into a higher spiritual existence, with a body, of course. It's like someone says to you, "Hey, Frank, hey, Alice, aren't you afraid of losing everything?" And you look at them and say, we're all going to lose everything. It's temporary. All these material things we won't take with us. But don't we covet them? Don't we worry about not having them? Right? And what do we do most of the time through this life? We all do it. I mean, none of us are exempt from it. It just depends on what levels and what degrees we practice it. Fighting life. Instead of surrendering to life and embracing it, we fight it. We literally fight it. Now, what's interesting is that it goes across the board. You're in a relationship, right? You don't like it. You ask yourself why. And not judging, but the reason you don't like it, you know this. And this is the only way you'll know is because if you know yourself, then you'll be able to answer these questions for yourself. If you don't know yourself, then you're going to be swimming around out there for a very long time. So you say, okay, so why do I feel this way? You're not analyzing anything. You're just loving yourself. You want to know some things about yourself. And you say, well, I'm not going to be in this relationship. And then you're not in it. The majority of us, though, will hang on to the relationship. Why? Because we don't know ourselves. And we feel insecure, ego mind. And we just deplore the thought of being what? Alone, which none of us have ever been alone. Again, the ego mind play on us all. Someone says, I got to be with someone because I'm alone. Tired of being alone. Well, it's because you don't know who and what you are. Well, what do you mean by that? If you knew that you are never alone, you'll never be alone throughout eternity because you're one with everything around you. It's part of you, you're part of it. How can you be alone? But, say, as we've been programmed, our minds direct us into that insecurity. Loneliness and being alone are two different things. Right? I've listened to a lot of people through the years in a statement made, they don't want to be alone. They'll do anything not to be alone. They'll get in relationships that aren't enriching, just not to be alone. they'll enter into a committed relationship for a long period of time just because they don't want to be alone. You know, it's funny. They always end up being alone, but they're not. But since they don't realize that they're not alone, they believe that they are alone. So as long as they believe it, they'll manifest it for the rest of their lives, that they're going to be alone. But see, that's the confusing part. You're never alone. There are trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of gods within material physical form. And all of us, gods, are part of all of those gods, and vice versa. Because I'll guarantee you that some of us eventually will know this stuff. And our perspective on life will be completely foreign to what our perspective is now on life. And when you finally discover that you're an immensely powerful supreme being that never dies in that body, everything's going to change. You're not just saying that just to say it. You're saying it because you believe it. And it'll get to the point where one might say, I'd like to have a hot fudge sundae, but I want it to be this, 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 and this. And before your eyes, there's a hot fudge sundae. Who did that? You did. See, your energy, an ocean of energy. Does it make sense that you can do anything that you choose to do with energy? Does that make sense? See, all of our educational systems on this planet has taught everybody everything wrong on purpose, so that humanity doesn't rise to the occasion, because it believes it is non-essential from the standpoint of being ignorant, weak, powerless. And it's so ironic. In actuality, we're all the opposite of that. So this, in the quiet time of this guided meditation, you may choose to focus on what? That you are, okay, that you always have been, that you always will be, forever and beyond forever. And that is the God that you are in that body. And to communicate with that God on a daily basis, to embrace the God, to love the God that you are, all the time. Be in the deepest gratitude all the time, no matter, you can't be in deepest gratitude because look at all this is going on. Look at my life right now. Well, that's ego mind. Do you want to keep swimming in that pool? Or would you like to get out before your skin falls off? See, it's amazing how many excuses we come up with to not love ourselves. There's a lot of them. And most of the time, we aren't even cognizant that we are stating them or inferring to them. What would happen on this planet if every one of us deeply and eternally loved ourselves? And I'm not talking about ego mind, I'm talking about heart-mindedness. See, it's like, what's an example of that? Loving yourself and ego mind is the Oedipus Rex complex, which is where you love yourself so much and you admire yourself so much that you feel that you're above everything and everyone. That's ego mind. Heart-mindedness is that you deeply and eternally love yourself, 24/7. And you deeply and eternally love everything else around you. And in some instances, it's going to take a lot. It takes a lot. But it's up to every one of us to choose that. No one's going to make you choose it. No one's going to trick you into it. You're going to choose it. And when you do choose it, that commitment is forever. There's no turning back. I'll join you in meditation, and I'll return and close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in from the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath, rising and falling. Do you know your real strength? A lot of people don't. Deep inside you is a power that is so profound, it can literally wipe clean any problem that you think you have in milliseconds. Would you like to know how to access this power? Now? Okay. The first step is to practice being extremely gentle with yourself in everything you attempt to do today. I emphasize, extremely gentle with yourself. When approaching any task in your day, keep your mind calm and centered. Do this by following the long, slow flowing movement of your breath. This breathing awareness will maintain a quiet, calming energy inside you. Radiate a peaceful vibration where nobody can ruffle your feathers. It is within the calm eye of the storm that your real strength is revealed. Test it out with someone or something that tends to disturb you or aggravate you. Feel into your flowing breath for a few minutes before you meet them. And as you speak with them, connect with this calming space inside you. Trust whatever triggered feelings they ignite in you. They are guiding you to find a deeper peace and connection with your breath. The master will feel into their pain, releasing it through each exhalation. On the inhalation, they say yes to the totality of existence. It's that easy. You'll soon see how strong you truly are, because you can quickly let go of any reactions, judgments, or blames of your outer world. When this magical breath meditation, your entire life becomes a pillar of strength, naturally inspiring everyone else to breathe and discover their inner calm. Who knew that your breath could be so empowering? This breathing practice is the secret to revealing the awesome power hidden inside your enlightened soul. Use it. Use it as much as you can. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here tonight a little after 9:15 p.m. to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. And Saturday, November 23, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging or our meditation call. You gotta bear with me at times. I do about 10 calls a week. Be calm, gentle, kind, humble with yourself at all times, no matter what's happening out there or in here. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening out there or within you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.